Anxiety is a complex interplay between our minds, bodies, and nervous systems that often defies logical explanation. What makes this common human experience particularly challenging is how it manifests in seemingly irrational ways while feeling absolutely real and urgent to those experiencing it. Consider that moment at 3 a.m., lying in bed, catastrophizing. Your body floods with cortisol and adrenaline, ancient survival systems screaming danger, despite being in the safety of your own bed. This disconnect between perceived and actual threat illustrates anxiety's confusing nature. It's an unreasonable response to reasonable situations, urgency masquerading as logic, survival instincts firing at the wrong target. Neuroscientist Bessel van der Kolk's research reveals something counterintuitive. Anxiety isn't actually about the future, though it feels that way. Instead, it's your body's response to a perceived present threat. Your nervous system makes this decision somatically, not logically or rationally. Your conscious mind then scrambles to construct a narrative to explain the anxiety, latching onto anything from health concerns to relationship worries to that awkward thing you said months ago. You might be anxious simply because you're tired, hungry, overcaffeinated, or triggered by something that reminded you of past trauma. Psychologist Albert Ellis identified this pattern as catastrophizing, imagining worst-case scenarios and treating them as inevitable. A minor ache becomes terminal illness, social awkwardness becomes eternal loneliness, a minor criticism becomes relationship destruction. These narratives feel absolutely real in the moment, presenting themselves as predictions or facts rather than what they truly are, your anxious brain playing out scenarios. Trauma-informed therapist Resmaa Menakem emphasizes that anxiety lives in the body. It's not just thoughts, it's shallow breathing, tense muscles, and shut down digestion. Your body literally prepares for a non-existent threat. This is why rational thinking often fails to help. The thinking brain and the feeling brain operate independently. You can logically know everything is fine, while your body continues screaming danger. This disconnect between knowledge and feeling can be maddening. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, attempts to address anxiety by changing thoughts, believing feelings will follow. Sometimes this works, helping to interrupt catastrophic spirals through reality checking and rational analysis. But when you're deep in anxiety with an overactivated nervous system, rational arguments may bounce off irrational panic. This can create additional frustration. Now you're anxious about being anxious, panicking about panic, frustrated that self-awareness isn't enough to control the experience. Roy Baumeister's ironic process theory explains why trying not to be anxious often backfires. Telling yourself not to worry makes you more aware of the anxiety, triggering more anxiety in an endless feedback loop. The counterintuitive solution is to stop fighting it. Acceptance and commitment. Therapy suggests learning to feel anxiety without being controlled by it, acknowledging its presence without trying to fix or judge it, while continuing to do what matters to you. Stephen Hayes describes cognitive fusion as believing our thoughts completely. When anxiety tells you something bad will happen, you fuse with that thought, and it becomes your reality. The goal is to diffuse, recognize thoughts as mental products, not necessarily truths. This is challenging because anxiety constantly lies, yet in the moment, everything it says feels absolutely true. The catastrophe feels imminent, the danger feels real, the shame feels justified, and the loneliness feels permanent. The confusion of anxiety isn't just about the experience itself. It's that anxiety seems to be trying to help. It presents itself as keeping you safe and providing crucial information. It offers certainty and conviction about an impending disaster, which can feel powerful even as it is destructive. Sometimes anxiety is worth listening to, but most often it's just a false alarm, your nervous system misfiring. The challenge is that you can't reliably tell the difference in the moment when you're flooded with stress hormones and caught in worst-case scenarios. The key insight is that anxiety isn't a problem to be solved. It's a feature of being human that sometimes misfires. You can't make it disappear forever, but you can learn to tolerate the confusion. You can learn to sit with irrational panic without letting it drive your decisions. You can move forward, even when your nervous system protests. The feeling itself, while uncomfortable and unpleasant, isn't dangerous. Your nervous system may be highly anxious about everything, all the time, and that's okay. You're not broken. Sometimes nervous systems malfunction. Sometimes they're so dedicated to protecting you that they overdo it. The confusion may persist even after understanding the mechanisms and living with anxiety for years. This is because anxiety, at its core, is your brain trying to protect you from dangers that don't exist. The irrationality never quite makes sense, and that's normal. You can't completely fix or eliminate anxiety, but you can learn to live with the confusion. You can learn to recognize when your nervous system is overreacting without letting that control your life. Understanding anxiety's mechanisms doesn't make it less confusing, but it can help us navigate its storms with more self-compassion and wisdom, knowing that while the experience isn't clear, we can live with that uncertainty. That is it for today. You've been listening to The Guide on the Side, where I share what I'm learning from people, books, and conversations. I hope something here stays with you, sparks a thought, or opens a door. I'm Ivan, and I'll be back soon with more. Until next time, may your days be full of curiosity, and I'll see you in the next episode.